Hello, everyone, and welcome to another World of Sasquatch. Today's episode is being recorded on 12/18/25. We're here with David Purcell again. This is going to be a real interesting one, more impromptu, which is actually, they turn out to be better when they're that way. So at this point in time, I now open this circle to true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So, Joanna?
We are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, that only the highest good be done. We pray for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, to let healing energies in. Let them love you, let them nourish you, and let them bring you to your highest good. We pray for ourselves, our friends, our family, our loved ones, to also let healing energies in. Let them love us, let them nourish us, and let them bring us to our highest good. We ask for benevolence now to come in with no conflicting agenda so that we may have this conversation in great understanding. And we ask for malevolent or mischievous type beings to be swept away so that we may have this conversation in peace. And with that and great blessings that we always send your way, we say, so be it.
And so be it.
So be it.
I find this very interesting because I was talking to Richie earlier this morning, and we came to find out that the forest people are actually waging war with the Draco once again. And I do have an update on the original aquatic Draco fight that was going on. That's done. I came to find out the ones with the big creepy aquatic types that we nicknamed him Trans Draco because he had no gender, it was nondescript type of thing. That's the name Richie and I came up with, was either aquatic or Trans Draco. So it was like, no, he goes, either one works. So, and they hated our guts after we called them that. Either one. And we're neither one of those. Well, then you're creepy. Get away from me. But they are gone. They were interdimensional ones that been locked in their dimensional space. No. So they're gone as far as I know. Oh, I was just corrected. They've actually been completely canceled out. They're annihilated. Okay. So they had greater numbers than regular Draco. But the regular Draco now decided that they're the ones that were more powerful than them are gone, and they're going to be assholes again. So, which they never really stopped being that. They were just kind of put in their place, pretty much. Now they're like an evil jack in the box that are popping out just like any demonic entity would, and there's Jinn in tow with them. So this is that they've let out of bottles and do crap like that. The typical genie being let out of the bottle type of thing. So,
And I've also found out that they're incredibly sterile at this point because of all the inbreeding that they're doing, and they're basically a dying race.
Yeah, and that's why we did a show for GIC called Fallen Empire about the origins of the Draco Reptilian, and they're more shattered and scattered. So it goes along with those lines. But the ones that are left are being fairly brutal and towards the forest people in general, and they've pretty much had enough. So forest people are going to go head to head with them. Levick, he's been on this show before. He spoke about having to go head to head with the different Draco types in the past. His group was actually created in the ancient past to contend to any problems that would pop up anywhere. And around the time of the fall of Atlantis, his group was founded. So, and that's how old Levick is. So it's actually he wasn't around, but maybe a little bit this morning. So I may include his channel that he did with Richie on this. It'll be a lesser quality audio. I do apologize for that, but it was actually, he explained a little bit there from what he understood. Richie can do channeling just like I can. So at some point I'll have all of us on at once, but just bear with me, the time differential. So also today, Fuma actually came to us. I know he's doing his role as the Galactic Senator, but he was actually here. He came back and had to take care of something, and he's going to speak more on that. And also, like what you were saying off recording, he's the Fuma noticed that there was some of his DNA out there, and he was being cloned and being used here by Draco and other forces. So he was fairly upset. So
I met him last was it last night or the night before?
Mhm.
Yeah, he comes up and goes, "You exceeded our expectations, and we're going to be moving you up. But something didn't feel right about him because he had this weird anger about him that he didn't
Yeah.
usually
Yeah, he's
have.
never that angry. Yeah.
And then I texted you about it, and I'm like, "So, how long have you known? How well do you know Fuma?" And you're like, "We know him pretty well." And then as we were texting, I was remote viewing where he was, and then there was this Fuma looking thing, had a bite plate put in a chair, and there were these two dark Palladians, and as soon as they saw me, they just canceled out the vision.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, you don't see that unless there is some Orion faction involved. I know there's another group called Dark Darshinian. They're a Dark Cassiopean group that they're of like these dark wizards and warlocks and crap like that. And then you have Orions, and you have Dark Pleiadians, Dark Taigetans, all that stuff. But with Fuma, oh, you want me he's doing this. Like, let's go. Okay. All right, you want me to continue? Ooh, you're pushing it a little bit. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. What's the sense of urgency there, friend? So let's see. Ooh. Ow. Eh, Sorry if I cough because I actually have a cold. As I said on past shows, a 4-year-old decided to initiate biological warfare on us. So,
They always do.
oh yes. So, and I'm the one that gets it first. So, yeah, that's not funny, Fuma. Okay, let's see. Well, it kind of is. Let's see. Fuma, benevolent Fuma only, please.
Who's the dude on the right side of you?
Hmm? Over
Who's
here.
yeah, there's someone on your left side that's not doesn't look like he's too friendly.
Hmm. Ooh, you were gonna creep up behind me. Where what? Oh, I don't have a chest guard. I have Merkabas on my chest. Is that okay? Yeah, this is the Elaine Investa Christmas shirt right here. So, have them in Santa hats and everything. They came up with the idea. So, because they have a Christmassy type of thing going on. So, no, everything's fine. Okay. Oh, you're talking about this. I gotta put this against my chest. It's EMF cloth. Got it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. He's like put something against the heart. So, okay. Meaning that other source was trying to hit my heart. So, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. But it didn't look like it. He was back there, but whatever. Let's see. True benevolent Fuma. Only, please. I do apologize for the intruders. These particular ones are the more ornery type of Draco. They are Draconian Guard variety. They are flat-faced, creepy-looking, pig-nosed creatures in metal armor, and more like the Gamorrean guards from Star Wars looking. They look kind of like a pig. There's also Neanderthal types that look like that too, but these look rather like a pig or a wild boar, and they are green, very much like the Gamorrean guards. Excuse. Might I recommend armaments more on that end of the house that would repel Draco reptilians? They do not like silver, amber, frankincense, myrrh, and copious amounts of silver-laced shungite powder. It actually hurts their feet. And magnetite powder, the mixture you were making to guard the house before. I would highly recommend you hit that end with it. The one you called Eldsgrief powder or fire steps, it burns them. So, even though they look like they came from a lava tube, yes, they do, but this particular variety stings. Kind of like if you had the pins and needles in your feet, but with the fiery pins and needles, like if you have bad circulation or something, times that by about 1,000, that's what it does to their feet. Or if you stepped on hot coals or something. Something of that nature, hot metal. Very similar. So fire steps in Icelandic is what that stands for. So I would highly recommend making more of this. So I will update you. I did come back to Earth briefly because I'd heard some of my DNA was stolen when I began my Senate tour, and I intend to go straight back there. Cannot leave that post. Excuse. Um, because of the fact, because some of my DNA was stolen as I went out into space, and they created a partial Draco clone of myself. This is what was harassing you, David, was this. They're always angry. They're because a long time ago they were trained by the Black Goo and the Orions to be more of an angry servant and instead of a sovereign species. Even if some of them have become sovereign, old habits die hard, you see. And they are essentially some of your demons of mythology. Now, some demons are essentially ghosts that have mutated, a lot of them are. And then you have Neanderthalic types, which are ghouls, which is still a more human variety, regardless of whether they were an experiment or not, but we don't need to go there. Creepy cousins, yes, and we don't talk about them at dinner, let's just put it that way. Excuse. They are annoying, but this is why you probably won't hear from us for, what you say, a hot minute, because of the fact they are doing this. Excuse, one more time. I'm doing this at great risk, but I'm more concerned for yourselves at this point.
You want me
So,
to help out?
if you wish,
Okay.
this I can go straight into questions because of the fact they are being a pain in my butt. So, and would be a pain in your butt subsequently. So I will go into questions.
So why are they being an extra special pain in the butt right now?
Because they're on a high at the moment after having not participated in taking down the aquatic Draco. They are on a high, and they figured they can come back and rule the roost once again, even though they are fractured. And as you said, David, they are quite sterile. They cannot breed, nor do we wish them to. Not that we want to see a species die out. I do not wish this on anyone, ever. But we do not want our people dying as a result of their dying genetics and inbred genetics. So, we do not care. Well, we care, but we don't care, if that makes sense. Excuse? Now, with that said, the reason they are this ornery and that they are coming after us is they did not want us to have representation on the Galactic Senate. They currently do, but there's two different types of them on the Senate, and there's several different types of them. They figured if Earthers have multiple representation, why can they not? Which again would be a valid argument if you weren't an asshole. So this is basically why we are battling them. They're coming after our people. We have brought Levick into the fray, even though some people, as what's the phrase? Everyone hates the warrior until the enemy's at the gates. He is one of the best of us, and we leave him to it. We help him where necessary. We wish to police our DNA. We are not leaving DNA from the Anakam and Sasquatch bloodlines. We are not leaving, the Moot has made a consensus. We are not leaving DNA as proof for people anymore, until further notice. We're not leaving hair nor blood unless it's an accident, which we discourage, but of course accidents happen, but I'm just saying. Uh, Contact will be only minimized for a short period of time from the time of this recording. These usually don't last long. I'm being hopeful. But the last time the Draco tried something several years back, it took about 2 years to completely quell them. When they get uppity and they get into a feral-like state, you tend to want to stay out of their way if they become a bulwark. So, uh, in this, a human military would even have a hard time with one of the alphas. And there aren't many alphas left. It's usually the foot soldier ones that are the majority that are left. If I had to judge the amount of Draco reptilians, regular ones, and also the one that tried to step in here right now, combined, I would honestly have to say it's less than 200,000. So, With that said, they do have enough, they would have enough for a gene pool if they weren't sterile. They're also very crotchety because I know they're on borrowed time. And some of them have wanted help in this matter, and they've been quite aggressive as to try to get it. Excuse. All right. I hope this answered.
Yes, thank
It does.
you. David?
Um, I was talking to Chris about this the other day, and we were wondering, you had mentioned something about that a line was crossed by the never was beings, and we were wondering, can you tell us what's going on with that from what happened to Isaac and the other ones as well? Like, is there actually going to be stuff changing, or are they just strongly disagreeing with that?
The never wases. He even wrote a definition of something called the never was, with never wases. So I actually like that we can encourage him to add the oses at the end of it to make it sound stupid. So kind of a merch style type of thing, a branding, if you will, for instead of the princes of the universe, they were the never wases. So sounds like something out of Never Ending Story or something like this, or some kind of Jim Henson special or something like a Muppet. But in this, more like
Muppets.
more like a Muppet, actually. There is a bad guy or a vermin that is very much like a Muppet. Just to sidetrack for 1 second, it looks like the creature from your Return of the Jedi, and it looks also like a frog and a lizard put together, and it has a weird texturing of the skin to where it looks like a Jim Henson Muppet. These things are quite obnoxious. They can shapeshift, and they can crawl up literally somebody's bunghole. So, that said, if they do this, then they cause a great deal of problems for that person, and then they can channel through that person, and they can mimic basically any voice that they're given. They can steal DNA from people by biting them and or even touching them through their skin pores, and they literally look kind of like Animal from the Muppets, but
Oh,
without
I like Animal.
hair. Yeah, Animal is cool. These guys are not. Chupacabra is another space vermin that's out there. That is the goat called goat sucker for a reason, and they became aboard cargo ships very much like rats did for pirate vessels and cargo vessels. So those are annoying. These other guys, the Muppet-looking things, are very annoying, and they can literally mimic any voice, but they're really stupid because they really don't learn anything. They just mimic back, kind of like a non-sentient AI bot, kind of, sort of. They're barely sentient.
So like a real Muppet?
Yes, they are a real Muppet. Even at times, people have skinned them just to make fun of them and put their hand up their butt and made them into a puppy, just for it to be cute. And I would highly not recommend anybody eat these things because they taste like crap. They essentially, like I said, barely sentient, and there's another race that should probably be sterile. Just saying, but they actually are all over the planet, so just be wary of this. If you see little Muppets crawling around, I would highly, highly suggest shooing them off. They can cause a lot of problems in a house. When you think they're a puckwudgie or some kind of like other vermin, think again. They're similar in nature, it's just they're dumb. So, all right, the question about the never was. The situation for the parties at hand that killed Isaac on a galactic level have been dealt with. It is now the servants, which were the Draco and others, that have now tried to step it up where their masters were no longer present. It wasn't all the never was that were responsible. It was a few of them. It was also a few that I will leave unnamed at this time because they are being akhenaten from history at the moment. Just know they were part of the Egyptian pantheon, and I will leave it at that. And as well as other parties within the Darshinian camp that were dark magical practitioners and vampiric camp, let's just say, to spread a particular viral contagion around just because they could. And just because it was an integral plan to try to genocide the Lanulosian people. This got the attention of the galactic community in a big way. And with that, it was been pandemonium ever since. Within the Galactic Courts, there's been several drumheads that have taken place in regards to this. Most of the, if not all of the Senate worlds have finally agreed on something. Off with their head. So when they saw what the parties were going to do to get the attention of the galaxy, that started to get some people that were bickering to stop. Even in their own systems and in Senate, that got everybody to knock it off just for a little bit. The death of Isaac sent shockwaves through the galaxy. And at this particular moment in time, the reason I stepped back on Earth is because some DNA was stolen. They wanted to set me up for some things on Earth, so so they could turn the Senate against the Earth and the Forest people, since Earth is making progress. So, with that said, the never wases. Not all of them have been busted. New Haven has to deal with still a few of them, but not as many, and they are literally in a prison cell. A couple of the demigods involved, they are too in a dimensional prison cell that they need. The Void is dealing with this, and the world of Lanulos, they aren't on lockdown status. They don't like cowering in the background, but as they would say, they are lovers, not fighters. So they are asking the Mozen step in on their behalf, and they will help them with technical concerns. At that point, they will fight if necessary, but the Mozen were from the same solar system as some of the descendant lineages of theirs. Asked if they could be in charge of fighting. Because they're trained soldiers. So if you think you're getting a ghost soldier on a photograph or something, chances are you are getting a Mozen. They don't actually go by that name. That is just where they identify as living on planet Earth at the moment. They came in after Adolf Hitler invited the Draco in from Aldebaran and the Orions in from Aldebaran through via Maria Orsic and the Vril Society. And they had to balance out what Nazi Germany was going to do both in World War I and World War II. And they assisted the United States and Great Britain, but the Nazis spread anyway through some of their idealism via some of the Dershinian Aryan types that were more Persian types and Draco reptilians and such. This is where we currently are as it stands right now. A few of the other races that are backing you or would surprise you. There are other reptilian species out there that are good.
Yeah, I've learned that.
There's one called Unarian. They are the ones that the famous Trebjetny comes from. They look rather like chameleons and frogs put together. Great people. Kind, benevolent people, most of them anyway. Got a few dickheads and assholes, but that's to be expected, I suppose. You have other frog species like your Trogdoboulian and like Garian, but they've chosen to hang back at this time. They're more of the extreme ancient variety. They've chosen not to get involved except in Senate concerns. To each their own. You knew of Joyous and other ones that came from there. There are other species on your behalf, like Lanulosian. There's some of the Pleiadian species, some of the ancient Mayan types. There are a few in the Buatas. You would call it the Booties or Boots. Isaac always called them the Booties, which they hated that particular name. Or the Booty, meaning the ass, but they actually frowned upon that nickname. But the ones you have on your side would actually surprise you as Guardian and Velodian as well. The Velodians have had to take a step back because they've gotten brutally attacked as well. You'll see them from time to time, but they are not necessarily fighters, even though they have some of the armaments of fighters. They're leaving it to the warriors at this time. So I hope this helped.
It did. And since you mentioned the Nazis and everything else, I have to ask about Valiant Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of what's been going on with him? Or one of them?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that member of his family that you guys spotted. That one is in jail at the moment.
Okay.
The original, though he is benevolent, and Hajmal and him are good friends. I would actually honestly say that Valiant Thor's agenda is a conflicting agenda by your guys' standards.
I
Uh,
suspected as much.
uh, but because I'd have to say to myself as well personally, yes, we all know him. He's been a good friend to everyone, but he is also I think he is beginning to notice some of the error of the slow drip and the 100 years disclosure narrative. But some of his family members want to continue on with this. You have not met all of them.
No.
You've met several of them, but not every single one of them. He has a whole family lineage. He has several sons, and he has a few brothers and extended cousin family and everything. The one you met was essentially one of the cousins. So the balding guy with the weird hairdo and the comb over, that guy. Yeah, he's a special sort that he can pretty much go to hell, pretty much. But because he bugged the crap out of us too.
Can I
Yeah,
ask a clarification question here?
Mhm.
Because
yeah,
you're mentioning a lot of people from one single family that seem to control a lot or have a lot of power and say.
hmm
So I don't understand the dynamics, again, thinking it's an elected official or somebody. Usually you think of a single person rising to a position or whatever. But the way that you're talking about a huge family dynamic. So how do the Venusians actually work? I mean, how does this fit into their
Mm.
structure? It doesn't make sense to me why
I,
it.
I was told it was a title, some kind of like a lord or a duke or something along those
Yes,
lines.
the Valiant Thor title. They basically what happened is a long time ago during the fight between Aesir and Vanir, which was Asgard and Venus. Uh, the Venus lost the fight, and the Vanir people, their DNA became merged with Asgard, and the DNA that came out of those was the birth of the Venusian colonies. They took on the names of uh, Odin, Thor, and all of the originals as rankings. Usually Thor, because they just well, Thor kind of set it up that way, the original. But what ended up happening was so did your Martian Germans. They took on some of the Odin religion too. And since they too were descended of the same Nordic type blood. And this is what Hitler was actually correct when he said that these things, despite all the other insane crap that he did, they basically were using Viking runes, like the SS, that meant the dual sun uh, in that particular runic language, the one from the inner earth and the one above. As above, so is below. Hitler understood, and his paranormal division understood these things perfectly. This is why your academia refuses to budge when it comes to paranormal concerns, but yet they do not realize they're being controlled by the very thing that they are scared of. But I digress. In this, the Martian Germans, or what's left of them, the Nachtwaffen and them, they aren't as strong as they used to be, thankfully. They do share the same religion for not necessarily the All Father, but that would be for Loki or the god of mischief. You would call him Lucifer or Baal or whatever name he wants to use. Pick a name, please, weirdo. But in this, and I say that to any of them that are using multiple names, please pick a name. It's getting a little weird. Thank you. But with this, the way the rankings came about are Valiant Thor would be more like Captain, Thor would be more like Commander, and so on and so forth down the line. They actually picked names that you would not recognize for the lower rankings. It would be the equivalent to like corporal and private and things of this nature. But the Venusians, how they are involved in this, some of them are not always necessarily for your highest good. It was actually Valiant Thor and them that broke away from some of his own people's uh, need to sometimes control things, and also sometimes some of the Galactic Federation rules he felt were too stringent. Yes, the most anal retentive man in the galaxy actually, well, he thought they were too stringent. So, with that said, he originally set it up to where his family could do things. It's not like the book at all, where he did not want privateers or private cabal families actually doing a have and have not. He noticed that in order to defeat them, he had to get entrenched within them. So he enlisted some help from his family and from some others in the Venetian colonies. When this occurred, not all of them agreed with his tactics because they saw that it was bringing down good businesses and good people as a result. He sends in Nordic secretaries to observe different areas that he wishes to dismantle, from Hollywood to private little businesses. Now, then all of the family members adopted this policy. Not all of them cared whether it was somebody that they felt should be dismantled. They just felt like if you had some software that was channeled from out in space, felt, oh, this was a means to an end. This could go global from this point and then spread a more globalist way of thinking, seeing it as one planet, one people, instead of someone's intellectual property. This caused a great deal of heartache and problems for those that went through this because they had a business collapse and they were getting no credit versus galactic rules. If you were just like with the Sasquatch busts, for instance, within those, even though there was an original artist that channeled those, we passed the torch through himself to make orgone pieces, much to the chagrin of the artist. Now, it is because it is our face, it is our face, it is our right to do so. You'll find in the galaxy, if something was channeled and conjured down here into physical form, both sides have rights. Since Earth is not a member of the Galactic Federation or the Galactic Senate as of yet, they do not, some of the groups out there do not consider humans at the moment as being able to share rights on that level as having, even though if it was channeled or remembered from the secret space program or what have you. This has incurred a problem because now we are on the Galactic Senate and now we are telling them these people must have credit. The members of Valiant Thor's family disagree. They feel in order to open it up, since it's Earth, that they're doing it their way and actually not giving credit where credit is due. The original Valiant Thor went into the private sector. I will not say where his actual location is, and he's attempting to slow drip and correct this snafu, so to speak. But his other family members, it's like you've hired like let's just say actually more like in ancient Rome, like if you were the emperor and you had people around that you thought you could trust in your little group, and all they want to do is backstab you. So the original Valiant Thor is attempting to speed some things along and correct things in others and slow the other things down in other areas. But do I agree with this manipulative tactic in the background? No. Do I agree with busting bad guys like how a Gary Seven would do? Yes, but I don't agree with the manipulative CIA type tactics in the background. Your CIA does this as well. At first, he was surmising that the CIA and the Pentagon and them made the story up. But it was actually the other way around, where what you saw in your vision, David, the original Valiant Thor that you saw shutting the light off at the Pentagon in the office, then he was moving on to other areas. That's who that was from the 50s and 60s. And he moved on to try to go into finances, to try to amalgamize it towards a galactic standard. He's doing that currently as well. And other members of his family are compartmentalized to the point where sometimes they're competing with one another and they don't realize it. Competing agendas, just like other cabal factions. So it's actually kind of competed against itself. And in my opinion, is not necessarily working. If this explained it well enough.
So there's a lot of nepotism going involved.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And is that normal? I mean, is it just this family with all the nepotism, or is that kind of normal with projects and the Venusians and whatever?
Yeah, it's normal with projects like you'd be able to also have your spouse on with you, and you would be able to have your children or cousin with you in a project. He invoked his right of family, not necessarily privilege. That's the wrong word. Some people would see it as a privilege, which it is. But he invoked the family, family getting involved. Let's just say they have a word for it. It's the word is like a family right or a family,
I still say nepotism.
yes, yes, exactly. It's nepotism. Their word, you can't pronounce it in your tongue, but the closest translation is nepotism. Yes. So
But they're not going back and forth to a home, so it's like everyone's coming here and getting involved, or I'd never see my family, it sounds like. I hate to
yes,
say it, but
yeah, yeah. So they
sounds-
have their family live. They actually, some of the Venusians live as your neighbors. Yes, I'm calling you out. But there's ETs all over the place, living all over the face of the earth. If people knew how many aliens were actually here, they would have a heart attack, literally, in some cases.
Well, I can believe that.
Yes,
I saw too many of my own.
Yeah.
they're everywhere. You've seen not nearly as many as there actually are. They're everywhere. There's also more dimensionals, though, involved than ETs. Those from coming from other timelines and other dimensional spaces, you have far more of the dimensionals, like your Lanulosians, than you do aliens. But there are still a lot of aliens. And they're knowing real quick that they're not being able to remain hidden. And the whole angels unaware rule, where they have to take off if you see them, is actually starting to be very ridiculous. So this is why they are taking slightly greater risks. Your friend Benna, on the other hand, when he showed himself to you in the Walmart that time, I don't think I can convey how big of a ball sack you actually have to pull a stunt like that, because it's at great risk, and it's also at great risk to the body as well. When you shake a person's hand, he was still in a particular vibratory state. When you encounter a particular being, it doesn't matter if they look like you or not. You're getting near a certain energy, especially beyond the firmament. Your body will go into a fight or flight state no matter what you do. The ripples and waves, and he understands what has happened. He is regretful of some of this, because of the fact that it caused his body to go into a meltdown, because of the fact that it was the energy. In the stabilization that was rendered, the body went into fight or flight mode. This was not what was wanted. Now that it has happened a little bit, it'll happen less with each contact. I hope you understand.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, because we had the experience of being around someone that we knew was of a higher frequency in multiple years back. And you could just, again, I guess a lot of people couldn't feel it, but you could just feel the strength of that different vibration that was
Yes.
coming off of them. So I understand what you're saying, because we've had that experience from a little bit of a distance before. But, so I got, if you don't mind, David, I got to ask a quick question. Just when you think it can't get any worse with the streaming of energies in to drive everybody insane and make them sick and everything like that, just when you think the pot has been put up to boil, then they turn it up some more. I mean, in general, that's an in general statement, but come on, when is it going to give?
That is a very difficult question to answer, because it gives dependent on how many people notice the things going on. And once it is seen, it cannot be unseen. Even if it causes a bit of fight or flight, it still cannot be unseen. So, with that said, it goes into that axiom, two or more, walk in my name kind of thing, but minus the Enlil intrusion there. But you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
This is why also Benna and Isaac did the things they did, and Elaine and Vessa did the things they've done. Because the more you are seeing them, the more your body and cells have a chance to decode and encode. Therefore, if you meet them for longer periods, it actually pays off. Now, the aliens say that are living in other houses around you. The fact that people do not know that they are ETs helps, because of the fact that they're looking at these people on day in and day out. You wouldn't know, but yet here your cells know. This can cause sometimes fight or flight based upon, and you've heard other insiders talk about this, if you get near a certain frequency, your body thinks that it's dying because it feels like it's close to spirit. That's that frequency that's beyond the firmament. When you've been outside of the biosphere, the energy is more rarefied. You come here, and also beings from other frequencies and dimensionals. You come here, what happens? The people that are around aren't used to that, and you're like, oh. And this actually can do damage at prolonging it. This is why your friends, including myself, won't hang around for very long. This is why I regretted when I came up and touched his mother on the shoulder physically, and she felt that handprint for 2 or 3 weeks after on her shoulder. It's that for that reason. Our people, there's a story where our people encountered some Tibetan monks, and we sat with them in a meditative pose. And even then, the monk had a very difficult time sitting in meditative pose. And that's what it would take to stay in the analam, to be in a meditative pose. If we had talked at full bore, his head would have exploded. And even Elena Vessa, if they walked into the room, and Isaac, when he was around, if he walked in the room, if they'd all been their jovial selves, your head would have exploded, or you would have had an aneurysm or something, or the brain deficient equivalent to it, like a stroke. They do not wish this. I do not wish this. And it is not about the fact that you have the knowledge. It has zero to do with this. It's susceptibility and encoding and decoding. People think, oh, I know this, I can handle it. It has nothing to do with that. That's the misnomer. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that you've been so far removed from some of these frequencies that integrating you back in is a pain in the butt. This has nothing against you at all. None. Now, could some races actually reintegrate like the Asgardians via a process like they had for the Garden of Eden, so they could strip you of all the contaminants and move you over? Yeah, Linulos has something similar, but they want to be able to come here and say hello to people for more than just a little while. Even if you didn't have the rules in place, you have the encoding and decoding issue to deal with. They tried this. Your agencies tried this little experiment. They like to tell the story of the security guard that saw an insectoid being. Saw an insectoid being waving at him. What happened is his eyes rolled back in his head. He had a heart attack and a stroke and died. So this is not something that we wish to happen. It is the body from all the stunting, from all the poisons, from all the toxins, and the ill energies. You actually have an advantage on some of us. You can be around this muck. And some of you are actually all right. And he always says, how do these people live this way? We ask the same thing of you. Humans have this adaptability, and also people are related to you, they have an adaptability too. But they'll take a look at Earth and they think from some of their perspective, you're walking around in feces on a regular basis. So they wonder how you have built this up, but then you look at them, you're like, and die. So this is the conundrum. This is the paradox we're up against right now.
Thank you. Quick question. Do I have any ETs around me? Because there's a couple of houses that I know are weird. I just can't tell if they're weird humans or not. I know I've had a lot of reptilians around me. I know this was a huge underground hive at one point, or still is, but I wasn't sure if there was actually any ETs around me.
Yes, you actually have several families around you, but one of the ones you call weird
Yeah.
is so that sometimes there's gang stalkers and such that actually are government agents as well. You don't necessarily have that near you, but you do have a couple ET families in your area that are masking their signatures. But given the energy fluxes on Earth right now, it's not really easy to hide this. It's like your show Resident Alien. It's very much similar to this. Just like in New Mexico, you have some Ebens living there with some reptilian types that are living in Albuquerque right now.
I've dealt with them before. They wanted to come to the surface for some reason.
Yes. Yes, these little things I keep flicking away. Yes,
Yeah,
they're quite annoying, actually.
like little worms or something.
Yeah, worms with a weird face on the front. Yes, and they are quite obnoxious, and they are listening to me speak. And they're another one that's barely sentient. And what they will do is they'll just come and listen, like those Muppet-like ones. They'll
Yeah.
come in and listen. They won't crawl on you. They crawl on the ground, and they'll just sit up and listen. And they get real close, and they are quite annoying. If anybody saw one of these, they would see it would be reminiscent of that scene from Beetlejuice where he's the snake and away, but except turn him into a millipede.
Oh,
That is essentially what they look like. And he's seen a few of these things that they crawl around upright like this and they move kind of like this. And they're just looking around. So it's they just go around and look at stuff. If you could see them completely, you would just see them staring at a wall half the time. So it's yeah, they're not dangerous, but they have been used to spy on people. They're naturally kind of dumb, and they'll go around and just look at stuff, and they'll just go, huh, and they'll have somebody put a tag on them. And they like the other thing that's like a Muppet. Some of the smarter races will grab and bag and tag them and try to use them to infiltrate spaces. Just like with some ghosts, they put tags on them and try to get them go. Oh, that person can help you to the other side, and they go past your defenses. So these guys are used to do this. On my way out today, I will try to sweep out some of these doity looking guys out of here. They are obnoxious. They won't harm you. They'll just look at you forever. They look creepy. And somebody would just be standing there screaming at them, and they'd just be sitting there going, they're not going to do anything to you. Ones that crawl in your energies are actual parasites. These guys are just, they, say they are sentient and being kind, but they're animal sentient borderline, and they have the potential to turn into another sentient race, but they're being exploited too much. And they haven't been given a proper chance. This is going to end pretty quick if I ever get what you say, get your druthers, you're getting my druthers. This kind of crap will end fast because these beings have a right to life too.
all right. And my final question, you had mentioned something about the galactic changing, like you were trying to model the galactic currency to
Mhm.
Earth.
Mhm.
And can you explain a little bit more, like, because like I see what's going on Earth right now, and I'm like, this isn't lasting. So I mean, is that supposed to be replacing with it, or like how does I don't understand, like, because we
Uh,
have capitalism and or we have some form of capitalism. Is that what you guys are basing it on, or
yes, but you also have other factions that are fighting it. That's why you're seeing it go back and forth. Let's see. So, just like your Kabbalists and also Martian Germans, they would love to have nothing more but a digital currency and to control it completely and have you all speaking German. But it needs to be both physical and digital in order to match what's out there, and it has to match resources. And then you have it in a chip form, like it looks like a poker chip, a colored poker chip. And they also have credits out there. They also have, like in Star Trek, you know how the Ferengi have your gold press latinum and all those things? That's actually true. They don't call
okay?
it that, mind you, but it's true. And you even have a race that the Ferengi are based off of out there with smaller lobes. As he said in the past, they make their head look like a butt, and they have the erogenous zones be their ears because somebody was calling him a dickhead. But uh, or a butthead, whichever you choose. Both applies actually. They even have rules of acquisition. They just don't call it that. But the ones that are closest to the Ferengi Commerce Authority would be your ICC or Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. That's basically who that's about. Big businessmen. But to match galactic standard, it has to be not necessarily just forced fairness. That's more communism. It has to be true competitiveness, true selling something because you have this passion to do so. It has to be about, say, like antiques, or it has to be about art. It has to be about even thrift will do it because the Canists do it. They're a form of dogman. They can speak for themselves at some point. He calls them the used car salesman of the galaxy. But then you have the Jawa-like beings that sell energy codes back and forth. They steal it from everybody in the galaxy, and they are quite annoying. Their homeworld died ages ago, during the Orion Wars, and the way they've been getting by is flying these friggin' frigates around with a computer core, a cubicle core at the center, with people's codes at the forefront where they can copy and paste into creating anything they want, and they're quite annoying. But they put an implant inside people that look like a cube, and it just reads their energy, copies, pastes, disappears. If you see these guys, they are orange in color, and they look like a miniature, like Egyptian pharaoh that's about 2 feet high. And they act like Jawas. Annoying little turds. But they've done it to us. They're the reason that our DNA got stolen to begin with. Somebody stole the DNA from them, and they kept the code. They don't want the DNA. They want the actual energetic code so they can copy paste on a computer the ones and zeros. They do not give a crap about the physical thing. They just let somebody else trade for it. They realized they could get money off of it. But anyway, back to the topic. The point I'm trying to make is it is a bit tumultuous out there. I don't know if I got all of your question. If you wish to add more.
Well, because I was trying to figure out like how does their economies work
Hmm.
compared to because each I'm
Okay.
assuming each planet would have their own economy
They do.
or
Yes, they have their own economy, but then it has to translate into galactic standard, just like Earth has multiple economies. Uh, so therefore, I know the New World Order wants a one currency, one world type of thing, but in the case of Earth, they could just have embassies that could translate it into galactic standard, say, and the galactic standard would be more resources and these resource chips. So they look again. They look like Vegas poker chips, is what they look like. And you put your thumbprint on it, and this shows who owns it. Lanulos is one of those that's actually constructing some of these. This is also another reason they became a target. They have the biggest monetary construction facility in the galaxy. So that put a target on their back. I think they are regretting ever doing it because they happen to be in a place, both dimensionally and physically, that it's very difficult to get to. Their security is immense. That's why it was chosen to be the Fort Knox. And the Galactic Federation asked them, could you please do this? And they accepted a very long time ago. I think they're regretting it, but they still are duty bound now. But in any way, that's why they're picky and choosy about people that show up beyond their borders to live. But they're not without compassion, but in that respect. But yes, each planet has some of their own economy in there. They have their own unique goods. They have their own unique services, and people can go straight to them, pay galactic standard, and actually, or some kind of credits from their own planet, and they can pay the equivalent. Like you could bring a handful of money to them, and it probably wouldn't be worth as much. Except if you had a resource like some mineral rights or something like that, or even property. But if you had money, you could, you could actually use that as well. This is also why some of your governments and other factions are trying to get rid of certain resources and getting galactics to mine certain resources here so people don't have those resources. They're also making it so that you're getting rid of your physical money because they know credits, if they put it in credits, they could actually get more out of it in the galaxy somewhere. If they have it digitized in some fashion, they could get more out of it if they have it attached to a bit of land. Why do you think your Kabbalists have bought up all the land too? Why do you think Hitler was going after all the art and paintings? It was the same thing. The aliens were around and were informing him of some of the trade that was out there. And it hasn't really changed much in hundreds and hundreds of years, so not thousands. So this is where some of your paintings have ended up as well, thanks to the Martian Germans. And also your Enosanok, they are a Cassiopean race that he nicknamed them the Galactic American Pickers because they go around to antique shops and they have been spotted in malls and they look kind of like a big burly Frankenstein-ish type that they're related to some of them on Lonulos that have the bigger, taller head and everything, bigger heads and taller physiques. They're related to them and they go around trading. They mostly within the Russian Federation, but they go around in your United States, looking in malls, looking in thrift stores. They even depicted one of them in your Strange New Worlds episode, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, where there was an alien owning a thrift store or an antique store. They do this. This is another race that is here entrenched. that is actually buying and selling and trading goods, and then ships some of them off world.
Thank you. And my final question would be, right now we're going through a lot with the AI. People are becoming overly dependent. They're misusing on it. It's taking a lot of power. Do you see us like taking a break from it? Because I think that's kind of what we need to do at this point, is just
Mm.
take a break. Take it.
I would suggest finding time, at least out of your day, to take a break from tech, because your tech is far more harmful to your brain, especially your phones. They are geared with a special type of harmfulness. I know you need them linked at the hip for business and whatnot, but when it comes to your technology, yes, I would suggest taking a break. The two ladies have been bugging him for at least 2 months. Oh, to do the same. I mean, of course, you have to do your networking and your shows and all of this through this. Absolutely, that is different. I'm saying the taking a break from being sucked into it. Use it for its necessity and then go and be creative and do other things. I hope this makes sense.
It does, thank you. And I just have one more quick question. I recently saw a post that Denmark was considering giving people like their genetic ID protection from being stolen, like being copyrighted or
Mhm.
trademarked, so it can't be used elsewhere. Is that something that goes on in the Galactics, or is that like a standard thing that like when you're born, your DNA is basically registered so no one can actually steal it, or if they do, you have legal ways to reclaim it?
Yes and no. It's actually a choice whether you register your DNA. There are races in the galaxy. There's one in the Buatas that is very similar to your Camino aliens and your Attack of the Clones Star Wars movie. That actually can make a stormtrooper type. Or your Ebens that also register DNA, but is it required in the galaxy? No. Your authorities here would rather you believe and get you used to the fact of doing it so that they can trade your DNA to said parties, that those said parties do not give a rat's butt where they get it from. But just like those little Jawa guys, they don't have a rat's butt where they get the codes from. They know they're making money. They're capitalists.
So you're saying it's a big lie. They're saying they're gonna protect your DNA, but they're gonna sell it.
They're selling it off world, is what they're doing. And the ICC is brokering it off world, yes. And they are shockingly full of shit. There is no requirement out that you do it, but they want you to get used to allowing it, and the alien abductions too. Why do you think the alien abductions happen? Doing the same thing. This is also coming to a close as well. Alien abductions. I know people are not a fan of people saying, "Oh, this is on its final throes," and the cabal is not on its final throes. Alien abductions, on the other hand, and military abductions are. Some of these factions are getting busted for doing this now. There's because certain rules and certain contracts of their time is up, the rotation is up, and they're not renewing them. So this is why you had like that military faction that him and Isaac lovingly nicknamed the bedbug faction, because they used bedbugs to gather DNA from
That's
people's feet.
diabolical.
Hmm?
That's diabolical.
Yes, and they were violating a contract. What happened? They lost all their contractual rights. None of these ever they made examples of, so nobody ever wants to violate these contracts or lack thereof again. It's like if you don't. It's very like if you don't have a driver's license, you get pulled over, or if you don't have insurance, you get fined a lot. Even though that is a control mechanism on your government, by the way, there are no licenses for vehicles out there or registration or any of that nonsense. But if you're doing trading, you have to have a particular license. Or to a lesser extent, it's like your fishing license. Again, these are control mechanisms on Earth, not you. The money is not used for what they say it's for, but you understand this point. The bedbug faction, they were taking it out of the bottoms of people's feet and slowly extracting the DNA from the tender flesh on the bottoms of the feet. And the tops of the feet where those veins run through there. I know, creepy, but they mixed it with regular bed bugs so people couldn't tell the artificial from the other. Now, others use, like in your Dragon Ball Z series, where the Jiro character actually took flies and gathered the hero's DNA. They've been doing that too. That was actually true to create Cell in that and everything. That is actually going on. That was a bit of disclosure in that series where the two androids were consumed by Cell and he became superpowered. They were food for him. That was actually more of a Lucian metaphor. And he also had the DNA to make his energy feel like he was one of the heroes if he powered his energy up. That's all true. Syrians have that ability, and some reptilians have that ability as well. So they made him look like a more of an Orion reptilian Draco type that could shift that energy field around. But back to on point. Sometimes bugs are not bugs. He encountered a spider where he slit one open and saw a device at the center of it, a blinking light. It struggled like you'd normally think it would, opened it, and there was a light. And he flushed it down the toilet, which good. I'm glad. Then you
How
have
can you
these
tell if there's a bug?
Hmm?
How can you tell which one is which without cutting it open?
The way you can tell is a bug, a normal bug will just go on instinct. You can tell the instinct, like if it runs from you or if it bites you like normal or something like that, or if it's just flying around doing its thing or crawling around doing its thing. If it is a machine, it will come in and take a strategic place in a room. It will hang and watch. And I know flies get annoying. They act like they orbit your head and everything. That's normal fly behavior. But if said fly is constantly, getting too close and getting overly obnoxious, they only can mimic the behavior so much. But a spider-like one is predictable. It will crawl in. It'll crawl to a part of a wall and just kind of look at you.
The hell
And
that one doing to me all day? Yeah, I knew there was something wrong with that spider.
yeah, they will do this, and sometimes they will do this to real ones as well, where they've even put a machine in one of them, or they've energetically had some magician type actually control it and actually watch you through it as well. Sometimes it's a real one where they've actually used psionics on it too, and spells and incantations and whatnot. But they will act the same. It will not act like its normal instinct. It'll act like it has like mad cow disease or something sometimes. So these are the differences. Like our people will take the form of a deer, and he saw one in Prescott one time that looked like it was patrolling the neighborhood and looking back and forth. That was us. So this is the
I
difference.
saw a very weird behaving deer a couple of weeks ago. Was that just because he was something was it was at night too? It was just I couldn't tell if he was drunk or something.
Hmm. Unfortunately, that poor deer had a disease.
Oh
Uh,
God.
and good thing you flagged that one by looking at it because he had a form of it's similar to mad cow, and it affected his brain.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he was not moving. Like his every movement was wrong, and he was almost barking at me.
yes, yes. It's almost a form of rabies, but it's not the same. It was a form of brain disease, brain decaying disease. If you see that behavior, they've either contracted a disease or they're being controlled. One of the two, which I suppose a disease is. These diseases fall into that category. The dogmen have some zombified thing as well. They contracted from the project as well. They can explain that better than I could, but this is what I know so far.
Thank you. I mean, this has been very useful. So much knowledge came through. Joanne, do you have any more?
No, just any final thoughts? You've come, you visited. We're so grateful that you're here. Any final thoughts of something you want to get out to everyone?
Yes, I know the creepier things that go bump in the night are quite distracting and quite annoying that you come across. Don't don't not stand your ground when these things show up. And also, if you see some of our people, be kind, say hello. But if they tell you to leave an area, if you feel you need to leave an area, please do so. And if they tell you not to take that they won't give evidence, please don't be howling like a madman in the woods. That's quite rude. We do not like ghost boxes. We do not like paranormal equipment. Hardly. Some of us do. Some of them just don't. Depends on the faction. And but the moot currently does not want this. And we are all for communication and presence over proof. He says presence over proof. I couldn't agree more because we are more for communication than we are you proving us there unless it is time to do so. When some of these dangers have subsided, we will go back to normal communications with people or how we were doing things with gifting and things of this nature. Also, there's a lot of mimics out there within some of the groups, some of the woo groups. We don't like the word woo. And we don't like us being called wood apes either. So do not refer it to as wood ape nor woo. Woo is actually a curse word in our language. It means fake. You say woo woo, the typical slang woo woo. Woo in our language means fake or liar or lies. It doesn't translate completely to English. That's that's like how the that's a Lemurian word meaning fake or lie or liar or lies. So that's why your agency's labeled the woo crowd over here for some of us because they knew it would piss us off. And it was a more of a joke on their part, and some people are laughing at the moment. It's more of like a racial slur to us. The word Bigfoot, we don't particularly like it because it's like saying four eyes to us. And the worst of all things is when people refer back to the Patterson Gimlin incident. And because you see the female forest person with the baby, she is actually dead because of the fact there were Draco there that day, military that day, and a lot of our brothers and sisters died there on that site. And they are glorifying it as the first contact with forest people. It was a site of a major massacre. So we normally don't talk about it that much, but these are the things that we do not like being shown as they are shown. I just wanted to inform this to people at this time. So our people generally, it's taboo sometimes talking about that incident, but it needs to be repeated a couple of times, in my opinion. I'll probably get scolded for talking about it, but
Thank you for telling me about that. I mean, I always thought that was, I didn't know that was what that was.
yes. Yes, they forced her to be on camera, you see, and she actually died there. So her and the baby. So that you see her with she was turning around looking. They were really stalking her. And when he encountered her, him and Richie encountered her, she actually was a ghost. And a lot of our people were ghosts. Before him and Richie and Susan sent Shungite to the property and blessed the property as she was traveling up through there. And that pleased our people greatly. For people in that area that had not even, you didn't even know you were honoring that site. And those particular Sasquatch that were there were grateful. And they were the same ones as you passed through the state of Oregon years ago. They were the ones that were real crotchety and wouldn't talk to you. They were the group that had suffered the most because of the Patterson Gimlin incident. This is why they were wary of people. That's why they are not now. They're not wary of you, but they're still wary of travelers through there.
Yes, they should be.
And completely support. Even though some people might call them fearful or a little xenophobic, but withdrawn. No, no, they have every reason to be. So not xenophobic's too strong. It's more cautious. But some are more the other. But they can hear me at the moment, and I'm actually slightly making fun of them because they don't have a sense of humor. But anyway, sorry, but in that they're off that direction. But anyway, I believe I will detach now because I do not want to incur any attention. If you see some creepy movement in the house later on, it's those goony-looking things. I will remove as many as I can find. All I have to do is just snap my fingers and they tend to go into a cage or something, but they just go and they move. Or you'll go boogie boogie and they'll just run off. But if people saw them, they would be creeped out because their face, I will describe one more time. Their face is similar to a human's, but it's like pulled down a little bit. And their eyes kind of look like they're looking in, they have like a human eye and they look like they're off this direction. They look like they have Graves' disease or something. But yeah.
So that looks. So what you're describing is from the Little Mermaid, Ursula, when she turned the people into those little weird growth things that like.
Yeah. Yes. They look like that, but as a millipede body. Yes. 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 And they were created more of as a kind of a servant-ish type of thing. But also, again, they were an animal somewhere that was captured and used, and we felt sorry for him actually. But you would, I don't know if you'd want to be all cuddly with one of them, but they don't hurt anyone. It's just they're annoying.
I'm sure they'd have their own fan base on Earth.
Oh, they would. Oh, yeah, they would. They definitely would. People would have them as pets and everything. Yes, yes. Not that I'm a fan, but don't. I wouldn't recommend eating one of them either. But at any rate, I figured I would leave it with more of a humor there. I like seafood, but this might resemble a crustacean, sort of, but it doesn't taste like a crustacean. So I'm just saying, gross. with that said, I will end this. So thank you, everybody, and Anam, always.
No.
All right.
You good?
Oof. Yeah, I'm surprised he stuck around as long as he did. But yeah, I could see those things in my head. I was wondering what the weird elongated face thing with the two eyes that were kind of doing this was like going like this. I was wondering what the hell that was because I saw one come up like right here going like this. I was like, what is this goony-eyed looking thing looking at me? And that's why he brought that up because a few of them are just walking around out here. They have the millipede body with all the legs, but they walk around with the two bigger ones that are on the bottom, and they kind of move like this, and with the head like this, with these two little arms off the side, and they're like this. And they look like a mental patient. They're like this, so it's like I'm like I don't know. I was seeing that earlier today when I was out at the fire pit. I'm like, what is this thing that I'm seeing going around? And I saw like one on the outer periphery going like this. And if you approach it like, hey, what are you? They get bug-eyed like this, and it's like okay, like how a feral animal would be. They get bug-eyed and they like that. Yeah. So yeah. So if they're kind, I really don't have any qualms with it. But it's but I was just creeped out when I happened to catch one of those, seen one of those earlier. I was like, the hell. But yeah, I thought it was funny because it had a human-looking face, and I was like, okay. But at any rate, he finds it funny because I was creeped out by it. But they're all over the galaxy, he says. So other people have them on their planets and everything too. So they felt sorry for them and took some of them in, and they bred, and now they're all over the place. So it's like, but at any rate, this was actually a really good show. I liked this one.
I did too. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So Joanna, did you have anything to add?
Nope. Hope everyone had a good time.
Yes, and also yes, you can catch us at the conference at the was it the 10th and 11th, and what's the name of the town again? I can never remember the name of the town. Timonium, Maryland, with Brandon Niblett, and we are giving the opening blessing to that conference, and we are also doing the opening lecture as well. So come see us there if you can, please, if you would check us out. And this is where I will now close this circle to true benevolence and no conflicting agendas at this moment in time. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Greetings.
Oh, Levick, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, brother. It's been very exhausting. I don't channel too long because this one has had a few intoxicating beers, but
yes.
I would like to bring forth yes, this war is taking place. This is why my sole purpose my sole purpose why I was brought back to do this. But the thing is, it would go on a little longer than what most perceive as. As much as I'd like it to end in a day, I think everyone would. War's a horrible thing. I'm not trying to sound like a hippie there, but that's just the way things are. What our components are is that we are dealing with giants and reptoids and some of the hybridation as well. This is also on the human level is what we're dealing with. It's also spiritual warfare. Unfortunately, the Galactics don't really want nothing to do with this. So we have had to take matters into our hands, as they have this perceived notion that the things will just balance out. I don't know. I can't find any way it will. It's never shown. They can't give me an example where this has worked. Due to the amount of oppression, how can someone evolve or culture develop? It doesn't just affect you and him. This affects us as well. As you see, we are connected to this planet as much as you are. So, and also the savior complex, people putting this on us, does affect us as well, badly. As we are not doing this unconditionally. Yes, we do wish to help humanity out, be one of you, but we are doing this on our behalf as well. At the end of the day, we are people as well. We have our own feelings, our own politics. Yeah, in the past, has there been a lot of tribalism amongst Sasquatch? Yes, most definitely. But we are trying to resolve a lot. Of course, there has been disagreements in Well, some tribes don't want nothing to do with it. Okay, that's down to them. That's their problem. That's their thing. But we, as a whole, this affects everyone. Any other questions you've got to ask me?
Yes, I have noticed the after effects of this war, or at least I've noticed that other beings aren't. No offense to everybody, but they're not telling me too many details about what is going on, no matter how many times I ask. Is it because of the extreme volatility of the situation?
Absolutely. The beings that you are, well, the beings you contact are highly monitored as well. They have been under the radar of the Cabal. You say the Cabal have been watching these beings interact with people because they look at it as like they're violating rules, though they themselves invite the Draco and everything. So why not? We come through. But this is why a lot of beings you're telling are not really giving you much disclosure on certain topics because they don't want they don't want you getting affected by this. They don't want you being a target. And the same applies to him here. And this is a problem we've had for a long time. People have been trying to reach out to us. And they're telling us, why wouldn't you tell us all this? Why wouldn't you give us all this information? Why wouldn't you tell us this? Well, because we don't want a sledgehammer on your head. Do you really want someone kicking your door in? This programmed individual? No. Of course you bloody don't.
Good. Yeah, I figured that was the reason. I was starting to intuit that there was something really very, very wrong. And Leia and Vesa in particular, especially in the aftermath of Isaac, are being very cautious about what they say.
Absolutely. And it's quite, it's quite sad what happened to Isaac. He was a good friend to me. And, and Leia and Vanessa were very heartbroken, especially for them. But I wasn't angry at this. I knew this wasn't him doing this. I knew what was going on, but I couldn't intervene because this wasn't my field to do this. This was more. Let's just say Isaac took things. He tended to step up. Sometimes we have to walk on a razor's edge. Isaac tended to just jump between both ends.
Okay.
This is what led to him getting influenced by them. Well, not influenced, but captured by them.
Mm-hmm.
And he, great, but he done it. Also, he was an inspiration for not only me, but other people, other individuals and other galactic races as well. That it can be done, but just don't be as ridiculous and reckless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that with him, he his brother Thorsten said that Isaac couldn't keep his nose out of anything for very long, and this is essentially the result. But his oversoul told me that he was meant to get involved to be able to undo a great deal in a very short period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly why he came in. He was the radical that we kind of needed as well. Similar to what I was to the forest people. They needed someone who was a bit more, I don't want to say psychopathic, but more someone who's a bit more extravagant at what he does. And we see, we look at Isaac as also he's a form of morale. So he's the biggest form of morale, actually, for a lot of us. He was the one that pushed the boundaries, remember that? He did things that most galactics, a lot of guys would even dare think about doing. But this also led to his demise. It's sad to say.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that. Who were the assaulting parties? The ones that actually killed him.
It was primarily the Dracos. The witch was also a component of this as well.
I figured. But human-wise, though, like I know a couple of the human parties. I believe was in on this, and a couple of others as well.
Yes, there was a few women involved in this as well. You may have met this woman, sorry. I'm only going off what this individual knows. This is only because he's the medium, so if he doesn't have knowledge of this, I can't really convey it through him as much. But this woman I think he knows who this woman is. He doesn't know her name specifically, but It was, yes, it was at that convention, which was pretty much like the the Wild West, did you put it?
Mm-hmm. Would it be Sarah? Would it be is he's what who he's thinking of?
Yes.
Okay.
This
Yes,
was
I figured too.
the
Yeah.
absolute after the night. Yes.
Hmm. Are there any other? I've been advised, or we've been advised not to go to too many conventions or conferences this next year, and mainly do things online. Do you think that's advisable?
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm. Okay.
As the trade are running rife, thanks to certain groups that have allowed them to do this, they fed off the energy. Yes, the aquatics have been eradicated, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
The space faring ones are the more classic type. The classic type of arsehole, has been still lingering and actually got more powerful. Just basically an arsehole got bigger.
Yeah, I've noticed this. The classic Draco have been quite obnoxious lately, and I've noticed they've stepped their game up to where discernment of them is actually quite much more difficult lately.
Yes. This is also affecting a lot of the media as well. Doctor Who is a prime example of this. This was all them. They put all this woke dog shit in there. They took all the sci-fi elements out of it, all the disclosure, all the stuff that we thought was true and knew was utter shite. But they put this whole mainstream political dog shit in there for this many people. But the good thing is, a lot of people don't like this stuff. This gives us hope as well. They know this is crap. This is not what the people want. The higher souls do not want this.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed Star Trek was starting to do it as well. There's one question I have. I've been making these coins with sigils on them, and the magic seems to be extremely potent when it enters our physical realm. Is this still a good idea?
Yeah, depending on where you put them, though. That's why I believe. Don't keep them near you. That's what I would advise you to do.
Okay. Uh, Keep them in storage until they sell, basically. Yeah.
I would not keep it near to your ear for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or someone will just speak into it and cause you absolute hell.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I understand that part. I am going to be selling a lot of them, so that's why I figured I'd just keep them in storage until they sell. Yeah. But yeah, there's different groups that want different depictions on the different coins. There's like at least 10 or 12, 15 different groups that want their own thing. Is it advisable to do that many or just keep it smaller?
It's primarily up to you, but I'd say keep it smaller.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was going to do as well. Yeah.
Different groups bring through different. Uh, let's just say, different groups bring through different expediencies on that sense. Whereas, groups that you specifically know, you know them, they're consistent. Yes, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed this, and I know Spirit seems to have different opinions on how to proceed. Like Michael Jackson, for instance, has a different opinion from Robin Williams on how to proceed on this. Neither one's wrong, but sometimes like Michael Jackson pushes the envelope more than Robin does. I've noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they come from different. Of course, everyone comes into this planet from different aspects of the world. They have different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
How they express them is up to them. But again, we say it's up to you. What you feel is more better. What you feel brings through the energy more.
Absolutely.
Personally, if you want who brings through the better energy, in my opinion, I would say Robin Williams does. As much as I totally condone Michael Jackson, what he does. But Robin Williams tends to have more of a way of shielding himself better than Michael does. On the end, seeing that Michael was a much bigger target than him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that.
Yes.
Michael was extremely tormented. He was heavily tortured as well in the SSP as well. Robin Williams tends to bring more the creative side on both worlds. Michael Jackson brings more of what he experienced to you, directly in spirit. Yes, he is good at, don't get me wrong, Michael Jackson is good at what he does, but Ron Williams tends to have more he tends to bring more of the the high roll side of himself.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
The ground, as this one said earlier.
This makes a lot of sense. Both sides seem to, it's a yin and yang, so it seems they both have value in the areas they're trying to direct me to. But I have noticed there have been a lot of groups trying to pull at us to do certain things, and I've had to tighten the circle quite severely down.
This is why we said this is why I suggest keeping it consistent. Keeping like a smaller group would be easier for you. In terms of the coins as well.
Okay. Yeah, would the forest people benefit from one as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yes, then that's on my list then. I know the Valkyrie had me do one recently, so the forest people are next on my list then. Okay, one thing that was forgotten to be mentioned was the forest people wanted to reiterate, and I know it's more than likely, I believe it is in the Levick channel that would be attached to this episode from Mitchie McGreevy, but they also want to reiterate they're not your guides, guardian angels, guards. They're not obligated to do anything but be your friend, and not even that. They just want communication. They want camaraderie. They want brotherhood. They want unity. They are not to be summoned. They're not angels. They're not in the woo community. They don't like that word. They said it was basically an insult, meaning liar or fake, in their language. I know they're quantum beings, but they're not to be summoned. They're not guides. They're not. I know the New Age community as well as the Christian community seem to think that that of course there's a guardian angel or one assigned to you at birth. No, that is a jinn or a demon. That the church does that through baptism. That's why you need to revoke it fully and completely. And I do ask all of you: do you revoke your baptism and the demon assigned to you as of this moment in time of hearing this recording? And I would hope the answer is yes. So that's what they wanted to reiterate. So also I want to say, before I end this, at the convention or conference we're going to, I'll be selling these guys right here. They got the slag still on them in this recording, I know, but look, they love these. So that's the ones they were talking about. And I also make I don't have the shorter ones here. Let's see, right here. So, and you'll see several of those small ones, like you've seen at past conferences. So, and I'll even insert a picture of one of the short ones here. So, okay, I believe I am done. They just wanted me to add that. And you probably won't see them so much with channelers. They don't want to channel at conventions anymore. They don't want to do any of that kind of stuff in smaller settings, like in the house, like here. And if you're somebody who's formed a relationship with them, a positive one, not an adversarial one, then they will do that. But they have to really trust you before they do that. And that's how they're playing it right now, folks. They have to. So, gotta trust in the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch is good. So, at least 9/10 of them. But in this case, it's proper judgment. So, it is 9:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Thank you.